So last week, yeah, I had a video up for about 5 minutes, probably a bit more than that actually. It was last week's NRL video, but my mic was playing up and the audio didn't go through on the video, so that's why I didn't post last week. But this is round 7 and my audio is working, so we are good to go. I might do some trainings while I get into last week's games. So the first game was the Broncos 26 defeating the Dragons 0, and this was pretty much expected really. Dragons are in all sorts of trouble at the moment, attacking wise and I suppose defensive wise as well. And the Broncos were just too good for them. Come on, get to that. It's me, okay. Yeah, it's the second time this year they've been held to 0, and just have it here. Also, I think they lost by 2. They only scored 2 points once, which is pretty bad as well. So yeah, they're in all sorts of trouble. But Broncos, too good for them, 26-0. Next game was South 10. I suck at this. South 10 defeated by the Roosters 17, and that was the Roosters' first win of the season. Oh, I'm the only player. What the hell? Yeah. So I don't know if I'd call this a shock. I was expecting them to win sooner or later, but I mean, I tipped South. They're probably the better team to be fair. Oh, I was offside. And South did not play well, gave Roosters every single chance to win, and that's what they did. As a nice little chip there. I'm pretty sure they get up the score from last week. What's the keeper doing coming out here? Get myself a free goal. Yeah, they were pretty much dominant for the whole game. Got out to a 10-0 lead, and South got one at half time, but really they were all over for most of the game and deserved winners. Just tripped over like a dick. Oi. So yeah, that was that game. Pretty much deserved winners. Next up, that was terrible. We'll just skip that one. Next up was Parramatta 36 defeating the Raiders. Yeah, 6. And for me, this was very surprising. I'm just going to simulate these ones. Raiders last week on Monday absolutely spanked the Bulldogs 22-8. But for some reason, 5-day turnaround, they just weren't good enough. Parramatta were pretty much on fire though. Got out to a massive lead at half time. What was that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 tries and all converted at half time. 24-0 at half time. Absolutely all over them. And yeah, Eels now move to second on the ladder, which is good for them. As we'll get into this next game, we have a Europa League game against someone. It's frozen. There we go. Yeah, Parramatta were just too good. And second on the ladder, which is deservingly so. 5:30 game on Saturday was Warriors 18 defeated by Manly 34. And another inconsistent game for the Warriors after coming to Australia and beating the Roosters. They thought they were back, the Warriors, but they're not. Especially at home, I thought they'd beat Manly without Cherry Evans, but never mind. Manly showing they can play without him, which is good, with a narrow loss the week before, and as well as this win this week. So they prove they're still contenders without him. The Warriors, not so much. Hard to see them tipping them against anyone for a while. Unless they prove that they can. It's not supposed to be chipped, I'd imagine. Yeah, so unless they show us that they can bring a form back like they did against the Roosters in the last couple of weeks, then sure we can tip them, but until then, oh my god, it's not that hard to chip this in. There we go. But until then, you can't tip them for a while, and that's a bad loss for them. 7:30, Cowboys played Penrith, and this was a good game actually. I was at work for this one. I saw this one on the big screen at work.
It is now match day 2. We've reached in the EuroLeague.
Yeah, I'm looking
We'll
forward
skip
to this.
through all
Two evenly
these.
matched sides, so,
That was one off.
won't be too much easier, I don't
Yeah,
think.
Penrith got out to a 10-point lead, and
Well, this is how the home team shape up.
yeah, that was
Well,
a bit surprising, but Cowboys and being who they are,
Such a popular
brought the game
system,
back, and it was
4-2,
18-all,
3-1.
and
It gives you a
clutch
lot of stability, and if you're front four, as you
field
might
goal
describe
is the
them,
word I'm looking
good
for
players, it's a really
from
potent system.
Cowboys, and then a very late try. Penrith were pretty much in the game for the whole 80 minutes, could have easily won, but another narrow loss for them, which they'll be disappointed about. And this is becoming quite a thing lately, so it can be a bit, being a bit slack there, can be a bit of a thing with some teams. They can't get those narrow wins. They got one last week, which is good for them, but they didn't do the job against Cowboys, which a lot of teams can say actually. 3 games to go from last week. Cronulla Sharks 25 defeated the Gold Coast 20, and yeah, that was another good game. Let's run the ball here. We lost it. Yes, the Titans got out to the Sharks got out to a good lead rather. They were 14-0 up, but credit to the Titans, as they've done a couple of times this season actually, come back and brought the game level, and it was actually level before a field goal again, similar to the Cowboys game actually. Sharks got a field goal to get themselves one in front, and then scored a try late to put the game beyond doubt. You can have it then. We've been pretty good in these games. We've been scoring well. Most of these commentaries. I scored one last week, which I didn't get to put up. Was we got on here? Oh, never mind. But yeah, credit to the Titans to keeping that game close. I thought most of these games were going to be close this week, and I was proven correct. But Sharks, just enough class in the end to see out the victory at home. And that is another good win for them. I think that's 2 or 3 in a row now. As we're in on goal here, we'll hit a shot. Oh, that was not the side I wanted there. Poor shot from me. 4 o'clock game was also at work. Newcastle 18 defeated West Tigers 16, and this game was quite annoying to watch visually and also the result. Knights had an orange kit on for some reason. It was one of their sponsors, kits, some sort of deal where they had to wear this certain type of kit. And it seems stupid that you'd wear it against the West Tigers, where they're the only team in orange. That would really clash. Maybe Broncos would be the other one, but most of the other teams you could wear that kit wouldn't have been an issue. But they decided to wear it against the West Tigers, which made it very hard to watch, especially when you're at work. Thought West Tigers scored a number of tries when they actually didn't. And I didn't see much of this game, but from what I could see, West Tigers were all over the shop. And this gave the opportunity to Knights to rack up their first win of the season, which they'll be happy about, in front of their home fans. West Tigers will not be happy with that loss, and that really makes them in trouble. They've lost their last 4 games now. I'll have that one. Give it here. Oh, so many chances ruined. Never mind. Yes, Knights rock up their first win of the season along with the Roosters, which is good for both of those teams. Last game I saw this one was the Melbourne Storm 12 defeated by Canterbury Bulldogs 18. And this game, I know both teams were playing well, and they did show signs of improvement. But the big story here was the Bulldogs' defence. Credit to them, as we almost run that one out, and we almost chance here. Oh, never mind. Yeah, Melbourne Storm have millions of chances to score here, and actually it's becoming quite a theme for the Storm's attack recently, is their poor defence. rather poor attack. And it showed on Monday with Bulldogs able to hold them out a few times. And they probably got maybe 3, I'm not sure what the possession count was, but they didn't have much ball, especially in the starts of the halves. But they held on for a 6-point win, and that really helped them out after last week's flogging. I tipped them to beat the Storm after that flogging. I thought they'd come back, and they did that. So that is where I got a tip on everyone else. But yeah, Bulldogs were probably, I'd say they're the better team, and they got the 2 points. So that was last week. I decided to plot close to game for those games last week, just so I could talk about them a bit more, and there's something interesting on the screen. So we'll now head into this week's games, and tonight at 7:50 we have Manly Seagulls up against the Parramatta Eels in Brookie, and this one is a very close game. I reckon it'll be a very close game rather for a Thursday compared to last week's one anyway. Manly normally good at Brookvale, wouldn't say they're good this year. And that was hence one of the reasons I'm going to Eels. They are in great form lately, the Eels. They're now second on the ladder. Well, with a few other teams, but they're actually second on the ladder points differential wise. And Manly, they did win well last week. But if Parramatta play to their potential, and hopefully they will, they should be able to see this game out. So for me, it's Parramatta. But don't be surprised if Manly make it a closer game at home. Very nasty challenge that. Tomorrow, on Friday, at 1300 Smile Stadium, the Cowboys up against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. And Souths were not very good last week. Might see a bounce back. It's happening a lot of times this year with teams who haven't played well. But Cowboys, one of those consistent teams that seem to find a win no matter what they're up against. Last week got 10-0 down against Penrith, and fair play to Penrith for that to happen. But the Cowboys are just too ruthless this year, and I expect them, the Broncos, to make the grand final again, as they're the best 2 teams in the comp at the moment. Last for this ball here. Oh, what a rubbish pass. Yeah, at home, Cowboys should be too good for South. Adam Reynolds is coming back this week. I said in the video that got deleted last week that he might be back. He wasn't, but he is definitely back this week. So that boosts South's chances. But in Townsville, as the ball comes to me, but I'm running away from it as halftime comes. At home, Cowboys should be too good. 0-0 at halftime in the EuroLeague match against this team. All the other millions of games that are in the EuroLeague at the moment. Beautiful. So yeah, 0-0 at halftime. Not playing particularly well. Normally get a goal at the half, before the half rather. So it's not good. Don't get one in the second half. As we'll move on to the next 6 games in the NRL, and the first Saturday game at 3 o'clock is Gold Coast and the Dragons. And this is the 3rd Queensland road trip for the Dragons. They've had a horrid run on the road this year. They've only had 1 home game, I think. 1 proper home game. They might have had a second one at ANZ, which was against South, but 1 proper home game. Don't know how they got stitched up that bad, but yeah. This should be a Titans win for me. Titans, despite losing, have been playing pretty well. Coming back in games. We came back against the Broncos a couple of weeks ago. Oh, smart save from our keeper there. As we get the ball back, we might do a break here. Yeah, Titans playing pretty well without getting results. Oh, what a ball. Too heavy though. And the Dragons have not been playing well at all. They've been held to 0 2 weeks in a row now, and I expect Titans at home, given how well they played, to get the 2 points here. You can't tip Dragons the way they've been playing lately. So it's Titans for me, but Dragons, this is probably their best chance in a while to get some points in the competition. It's a terrible free kick. Next up is the Bulldogs and the Warriors. And Warriors did win in Sydney last week, so a couple of weeks ago rather, against the Roosters, but Bulldogs are another kettle of fish. I expect them to bring what they did against Storm last week, despite the 5-day turnaround. Go on. And we get the assist there, beautiful ball. I think that was Insigne who scores the goal. And we're 1-0 up in the EuroLeague. Very nice pass, that one. One of my better passes, actually. Yeah, another 5-day turnaround for Bulldogs. And the last team that did that was the Raiders, who got spanked. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But I think Warriors, who knows what happens with them. I say this every week with it was David Lopez who scored, but Warriors every week, the most inconsistent team I've ever seen in the NRL. And just flip a coin with this game. Basically, if you think, who knows what Warriors are going to bring to the table. Last week they were horrible, but mainly they were alright. And the week before that they played pretty well against the Roosters, not great. They haven't been playing that great this season, despite they're all their good players. Pretty sure they're only on one win or two. So hard to tip them against Bulldogs, who are in pretty good form at the moment. Next game, we'll spend about 5 seconds on it. Broncos at home to Newcastle. Newcastle got their first win last week, but Broncos are a different kettle of fish. And they will absolutely spank them at home. Broncos, I expect. They took a while to beat Dragons last week, but
maybe giving the keeper a chance with the
I
height
don't
of the shot,
think that's going to happen against the Knights, despite winning last week. Broncos are pretty ruthless. 3 games to go. Raiders and the Sharks. This one is a tricky one. The last 3 games are a bit tricky, to be honest. Raiders were hopeless on Saturday after winning that big win, and it just proves inconsistently of the teams in the NRL. And they could easily come out and win by 20 points this week, considering how inconsistent some teams are in the NRL, but I don't think that's going to happen. The Sharks have won 2 or 3 in a row now, and they were pretty good against the Titans. Let them back in the game, Titans, but they've done that to a couple of teams this year, the Titans. But the Sharks, I think they'll be pretty good this week. Can't really see an upset on the cards here. Raiders at home might be a bit of a issue. I don't know what that ball was. But if you're tipping on form, and I think most people do, it'd have to be Sharks. And they're on a good winning streak after beating Storm 2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah, Chris Hyington's kid got bloody run over by the cart in their game yesterday, so he might be looking to play for him after that game. So you might expect him to go okay. Boys might rally for him. It's quite a tricky one, this one, but for me it's Sharks at the moment. Next up is Sunday at 4 o'clock. The West Tigers go up against the Storm. And both teams haven't been playing well.
Well, I think we're going to see some
yeah, West Tigers lost a close one against the Knights last week, but before then they hadn't been playing particularly well. Same with the Storm. Last 2 weeks they've been pretty poor, struggling to score points, so this one's a bit tricky. I think looking at both teams, despite Will Chambers, who's out for a month or 2 with an injury, despite him, being out. I think Storm on paper are a better team, but I've just absolutely cooked. Let's do some tricks, eh? We're up 1-0. See if we can't run into it. Oh my lord, what was that? Let's pretend that didn't happen, and we're getting the last 10 minutes as per usual on the bench. So watch the rest of this match. Back to the NRL. Yeah, on paper, both teams are kind of close, but I'd say Melbourne have a better team on paper, and I don't expect their run of bad performances to continue, especially after the loss they've probably needed for a couple of weeks now. So it's Melbourne for me away, but watch out for West Tigers at home, as they nearly get a goal there. Just tie that one up. And the last game is a tricky one, probably one of the trickiest of the round. Debatable, but yeah. Sydney Roosters at home against Penrith Panthers. And Roosters coming off their first win. I think they're back. I know they didn't play particularly well against South Sydney Rabbitohs, and South did everything they can to give them the win. But I just think they're back, and a team like them can't keep losing. I know Penrith are playing well, and they are the favourites because of that. But I normally go one upset on the week, and this is probably the game you'd have to go. Roosters, if they are trying to... Oh, that was close. If they're trying to get into the top 8 and make themselves somewhat a contender this year, they need to win these types of games at home. What is the keeper doing? Wow. Oh my god. He nearly just cost us the win, that. That's crazy. Yeah, they have to win these sort of games. Wouldn't surprise me if Penrith win, and they should win as they're the favourites. But this is my roughie for the week. Roosters to beat Penrith. Penrith will be... I think they'll be a little bit disappointed after losing that close game last week. I think the wind might go out of their sail a bit. And this is why I'm going the Roosters, as full time has approached in the EuroLeague match, and we are 1-0 victors. Didn't get the goal that we normally do, but we did get an assist, and that is good enough, as we get the 3 points, and we still sit atop of the EuroLeague ladder. There is the goal scorer, 1 shot, 1 goal, as good as it gets.
Put in a really good shift. Excellent performance.
For some reason you can't skip these when you get subbed off, which is very annoying, so we might just leave this there. I might go through a couple of bets for you guys. I think Gold Coast are absolute specials against the Dragons, and they're giving so what's better, giving $1.70, which is great odds. Might want to chuck them a multi. Not sure what price Cowboys are. They should win at home normally. $1.30 might be worth chucking in as a shorty.
It's going to be Napoli to make this change.
As they go through a few of our highlights here, that was the goal. That's about it for the moment. Might have a look, and I'll post my bet of the week in the comments section. So thank you guys, hopefully the audio works and we see this video up later today. Good luck with your tips and your betting, and I'll see you next Thursday, if not earlier.